Hey, having a trading routine is super important. If you don't got one, you should probably get one. Let me tell you mine. So listen, first thing I do is I hop up in the morning and I go read my Bible. Come on, let the church say amen. Listen, I ain't saying you got to read your Bible. I hope you do, but if you don't believe or something like that, do what works for you. Meditate, do something. You don't need to hop straight on the chart in the morning. Nor need you hop straight on social media in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, who does that? An idiot. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Like, you got to get your mind right on these charts. You feel me? So definitely got to read, do something, listen to some slow, mellow, like massage room music. You know what I'm saying? And just really get your mind right before you hop on these charts, because like it's a doggy dog world out here. You feel me? So I always get my mind right before I hop on the charts. I got to do that. And then what I usually do on Sundays is I mark up my chart. So I'm marking up key levels. I'm at the weekly time frame, marking up key levels of support and resistance, then move down to the daily, then the H1, and then I take trades on the M15, right? So usually if I do that on a Sunday, it's already set up. I don't got to go in there and mark up nothing, right? The week is already marked up and we good to go, right? When you do it like that, it makes it so much easier to find your entries. You know what I'm saying? Another thing you can do is when you do mark up those key levels of support and resistance, you can go in there and set a pending order at those levels. So for instance, let's say you got a key level of resistance, right? And you know the market already bounced there like once or twice, so it's a heavy level of resistance. You go in there, throw a pending order in there, and then for the most part, set your stop loss and take profit. Then you good to go, right? Once it hits that level, it'll open your trade and you ain't even got to be there. You know what I'm saying? You could be off doing whatever you're going to do and your stop loss take profit is already set once it opens, and boom. You know what I'm saying? You can cut it like that. It's almost like having an EA robot. You know what I'm saying? So that's something really dope that I like to do, especially if I don't feel like just looking at the charts all day, stuff like that. Another thing that's very, very important is identifying days to trade, right? What days do you trade, right? So either you're going to trade all week, which I don't recommend, you know what I'm saying? Unless, you're just having an amazing week. Sometimes it just happen like that. But most traders have certain days that they trade, right? Some only trade 1 day a week. Some trade 3 days a week. Some trade all 5. It just really depends on you. But I will tell you this, the more time you spend in the markets, the more risk you put on your account, right? And we all know that. So I trade mainly Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Those are the days that always work best for me. Mondays and Fridays are usually trap days. Occasionally, I still will get in there on a Monday, and occasionally I still will get in there on a Friday. The reason why I call them trap days is because usually the market does not play out how you thought it was going to play out on Mondays and Fridays. What I've noticed about those days is that they trend a lot. So let's say you're using the NBA strategy, right? Where you have the RSI, overbought, oversold levels. For the most part, whenever the RSI is high, we know we looking to sell, right? Not on Mondays. Mondays, the market usually only comes down just a little bit, and then it continues to trend in the same direction. And it does that for at least the first hour and a half of the morning, right? I've started noticing that after getting cooked for so long, right? So what we usually do now is wait for that pullback to happen, and then we hop back in on the direction of the trend, right? So Mondays and Fridays are usually like that, right? And then it look like an hour or two later, then it'll finally start respecting those indicators and stuff like that again. Another thing that happens on Mondays and Fridays is stop hunts, right? So sometimes if you have a stop loss at a certain spot, the market will sometimes come down, hit that stop loss, and then finally go back in your direction. That kind of stuff happens, so for a while I wasn't even using stop losses for a while, but I still will use them. Now, real quick, if you're wanting to know where to place a stop loss, just for future references, always place them at least 2 candles behind, right? Or at the previous zone. Okay. So if you're using the 200 and the 20 moving average, once the candles cross above that 20 moving average, you place a stop loss right at the previous zone below that. Usually you're good as long as you're trading in the direction of the trend. You're definitely good to go. All right. So yeah, identifying the days is great. Identifying sessions is even greater. So when I originally started trading, I was trading London session, which is 3 a.m, right? A lot of the times I would fall asleep on trades, you know what I'm saying? And I would blow my account. So I was like, you know what? 3 in the morning probably ain't for me, even though that's like the best time to trade because the market usually moves the greatest at that time. But I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. So I started waking up around 5 in the morning, right? And that's when I get on my prayer time in, be able to look over the charts. And I'm usually placing trades around 7 a.m. Central Time, which is the New York session, right? Out the gate, the market's usually doing what it's supposed to do, and we in there. Now, another thing that's going to help you is having a certain amount of pairs that you trade. Some people only trade one pair, believe it or not. Some people only trade US 30. You got some people that only trade the NASDAQ. Some people that only trade S&P. Some people that only trade GJ. You got to figure out what you want to trade. But you can have multiple, but understand that if you have multiple pairs that you trade, you're not going to really be able to identify what that trade is like. Like it's supposed to be like a relationship. You know what I'm saying? The longer you're on that pair, you can kind of identify certain things that it does all the time. And that way you'll be able to catch better moves. You know what I'm saying? Versus having a big variety of pairs, you can't really, grasp the concept of what they're doing. So I do trade about 5 pairs. Normally I'm trading like GJ, right? Gold, NAS 100, US 30, and Euro USD. Them is like my top 5 pairs that I look at. I've been looking at them for a year. I kind of know exactly what they're going to do. I know what market open, what NASDAQ does, right? What US 30 does and stuff like that. So I can and outside of that, like on the Forex side, I don't trade anything outside of that for the most part. Now, if I'm doing binary options, it's a little different. But have your set pairs that you identify with, study those to the T, and you'll be good to go. Like having a routine is super dope. You know what I'm saying? Having a routine, like some people like to work out before they trade, you know what I mean? Cause they're pumped up, they get their mind right, you know what I'm saying? And I recommend doing that too. I usually work out after, you know what I'm saying? But some people love to work out before they trade, you know what I'm saying? So my mornings is usually tied up, with prayer and live trading and stuff like that. So I don't even have time to even think about hopping in the gym until after, but whatever works best for you. Okay. So journaling, like if you don't journal your trades, you could, you should. I mean, it's definitely something that's great to do, because it'll show you why you lost a trade, right? And I always tell people, in order to get better, you need to know why you lost. If you can't identify why you won a trade or why you lost, you're probably doing something wrong, right? If you're just winning willy-nilly, and if I ask you like, how'd you win that trade? What'd you do to take it? And you can't really explain, then you need to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? Because every trade that I lose, I know why I lost. And let me tell you some of the reasons why I lose. I marry trades sometimes, meaning I'll believe in the trade way too much. I'll believe it's going to continue to go in a certain direction, and it doesn't, right? And then I'll hold that trade for a day or two, and it still doesn't go in that direction, you know what I mean? And I'm just holding it. And it's like, okay, you should have been cut that trade off a long time ago. And I do stuff like that. I've done that plenty of times, and I got burnt a lot of times doing that. So, that's one reason why I lose. Another reason why I've lost is because I don't see my setup, but I want to make some money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of trying to create a setup. Like it's not my ideal setup that I usually go for, but I'm trying to create one. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll just hop in like, okay, it looks like it's about to go there, and I'm not sure. So if you're never not sure about a trade, don't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just unsure. Some people ask me a lot. They say, like, how do you know when to go risky on a trade or when to raise the lot size and stuff like that? I'm like, look, if you see a trade and you can identify that this is what it's about to do, right? You got that confidence, then you go risky on those. If you look at a trade and you say, I think it might go up. It looked like it about, but I don't know. If you do that, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you can take it, but go small. Now, the ones you confident in and you like, that's the setup I'm looking for, you go ahead, go big. You know what I'm saying? And even if you did lose the trade that you went big on, at least you saw what you saw. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you thought you saw. And it, if it didn't play out perfect, I mean, great. If it did work out, great. You know what I'm saying? But I'm usually not mad at those, ones that I lose if I was just confident in it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be the ones that I wasn't so confident that I was like, dang, I should never even took that. So identifying why you lost is definitely great to have in your routine, so journaling and doing things like that is key, right? So I'm always a big advocate of, looking into things that may help you in trading that may not be a part of trading, right? So I've identified, like, I'm looking at different industries, right? And I looked at the casino, right, to find out, okay, how are the top people? Because, you know, casinos is like, it's gambling, right? Trading is not necessarily gambling. It's like a calculated gamble, like I guess you could say. But at the end of the day, I try to find people who are successful in certain industries and their mindset, and I try to apply it to trading, right? So I told y'all before how you have the guy that was on the slot machines, right? And he always walked away with money when most people didn't. And the reason why, what he said was, he would bring this wallet that had a key to it, but he leaves the key at home. So I guess you can stuff money into the wallet, but you can't open it and access it. So whenever he would play the slot machines, right, he would print the ticket out, take it up there, cash it in, take some of the earnings, stuff it into that wallet. The rest of the money he had left over, he would put back in the machine to continue to play. That way he always walked away with some type of profit. And so I highly recommend doing that when it comes to trading, and having that part of your routine every day. Now you need to identify, okay, am I going to be withdrawing weekly, right? Or am I compounding for a certain period of time and then withdrawing? If you are withdrawing weekly, if you are withdrawing weekly, Forex has a wallet, right? Every Forex broker should have some type of wallet that you can get profit, transfer money to that wallet. I highly recommend doing that if you're withdrawing weekly and you need money to pay for bills, you need stuff like that, because the problem is never you don't know how to make money. Trading is 50-50 for the most part. You're going to make some kind of money. Most of the time you're in profit. You just don't take smaller profits. But if you learn to take all your profits, right, all of them, it doesn't really matter. Like if you learn how to take, and it's for the people who want to withdraw weekly. If you start taking profits, you getting those pips, boom, you're moving that to the wallet. At the end of the week, you're going to have a nice little nest egg that you can then cash out to yourself. And that kind of, you know, gives me the same idea of the guy in the casino. So I look at different industries like that, and I added that to my routine. It's been working amazing. It's been working for a whole lot of other students that have been doing it as well. So I highly recommend doing things like that. And again, just limit, as far as your routine, limit the traders that you watch, limit what you consume as far as like strategies and their lifestyle and this and that, because what will happen is you will start to compare your life, your journey to theirs. Everybody's journey is going to be different, and I need y'all to hear me on this. Everybody's journey will be different. What God has for you is for you. What he has for them is for them, right? So you can never compare your chapter 12 to somebody's chapter 1, right? They did a lot to get to where they are. You did a lot to get to where you are. And at the end of the day, what God has for you is for you. You know what I'm saying? So always remember why you started, right? And always remember always remember the goals and dreams that you have and that you started with, right? If your goal was never really to, you know, have the big mansion and all the fancy cars and all that stuff, then don't go after that stuff, y'all. Like, if that's never been really your goal, if your goal was just to, you know, travel and enjoy life with your family, then do that. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about, you know, that I've noticed about people on the internet and trading, when they get in here, they start to look at all these trading gurus and they start to switch up originally what they were doing this for. You know what I'm saying? Because they get too caught up into it. So I just tell people, look, man, remember why you started. Remember why you're doing this, and cut out all the noise. You know what I'm saying? I say that a lot because it's so true. And I've seen so many people basically lose their soul in this industry chasing so much stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's my routine. Hopefully it helped you. Let me know some of y'all routines in case of some things we might have missed below that helps y'all. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see, and I will be dropping those. Holla at your boy. Let's get it.